Hey guys, it's Andrea Otley here. Last week I came on and shared some tips with you about how I plan to stay on track with my new way of eating healthy while I traveled and was on the road. Last weekend we had to go to Bend to get our taxes done. And then the next day, we had to go spend all day at my in-laws' branding. And so that meant 2 days of traveling, 2 days of not having my little controlled environment where I got to pick the foods and the schedule and all of that. So if you missed it, go back and watch my tips for what I had planned to do while I traveled, and some things that you can do too if you struggle with sticking to your meal plan while you're on the road. Today, what I want to do is go over what I did actually eat. So I want to follow up and let you know if I stuck to my meal plan, if I used those tips that I shared last week with you, and how it worked. So really quickly, before I get started, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Andrea Otley, and I'm just a horse crazy wife and mom of 3 from a small ranching town in southeastern Oregon. Horses are definitely a way of life for me. And it's my mission really to help other women lose weight and get fit to ride. So what I like to do is come on and let you know what tips I am applying to myself and how I'm losing the weight, what I'm doing, what I'm using to get it done. Because basically what I want you to realize is I understand your struggles. I understand your way of life. And I understand what you want to get done in terms of your health and fitness goals as it relates to horses. So that's my passion. Okay, make sure I have my ducks in a row here before we dive in. Basically, what I want to do is just take you through the 2 days, from when I woke up until I went to bed on the last day, and share with you exactly what I ate and how it made me feel, how it was so much different than how I used to do things. Let me just say, before I get started with this, in the last 3 years, I have tried my guts out to lose the last little bit of baby weight, and I didn't have much. I just needed to, what I really wanted to do is burn off some fat and lower my body fat percentage. I kept trying harder to follow one system that didn't work for me. I'm not going to get into that here. I'll share more about that later. But what basically happened was the day after Christmas of December 2017, so it's going on 4 months now, I made some very drastic changes in terms of what I was putting in my body. And you guys, the fat is falling off. And I have never felt better. So basically, I'm losing fat, I'm losing weight, I'm losing inches. My jeans are becoming too big, and I am feeling amazing at the same time. So it has not been a trade-off where I've had to, lose the fat, lose the weight, and suffer and apply self-discipline. That hasn't happened. It might sound too good to be true, but I promise you that it's not. And that's what I want to do from here on out, is let you know what I have been doing and how it's working for me. Okay, so just to set the scene, briefly, without going into a whole bunch of details, I have completely, I'd say 95% eliminated sugar and definitely flour. I cannot, or anything processed white flour, and highly processed, high carb foods. Can't remember the last time since before Christmas, like I'm saying, from that stretch of time, I haven't had any of that. That's a huge change. What's made this sustainable for me, different than a typical low carb, low fat, maybe higher protein diet, not doing that. I can't do that because the cravings were driving me crazy. And I've talked about that before, so you can go back and look at past videos, and I'll get into that again later. But so what I'm doing is definitely lower carb and higher and healthier fats, and then just kind of keeping that protein about the same. So that's an overview as I get into what exactly I did eat. And then, yeah, okay. So this was last Friday, the 13th. Ooh. We had our tax appointment scheduled in Bend at noon, high noon for the taxes. That's a 4-hour drive for us. So what I did, and of course I procrastinated on getting all my tax stuff done, got up at 3:30 a.m. the morning of that I'm talking about, and just had a cup of black coffee, finished up my tax prep, and then about 6:30, I think, is that right? Yeah, I think we left to go to drive up there at 7 a.m. So the only thing that I had was a cup of black coffee, and then I have an electrolyte drink that I buy, and I'll get into all of that stuff more later, but I had a scoop of that. So what I want you to understand is that I made sure my electrolytes and my hydration was good. So I had a scoop of that, drank it. About 8:30 a.m., we stopped in Paisley. I went to the coffee shop, and what I got was a vanilla latte with sugar-free vanilla and full-fat milk. That's higher carb than what I have normally been eating because milk is high in carb, but I don't cut out dairy. I personally, after testing it, have not had problems with dairy, so I continue to eat it. Thank goodness, because I love dairy. Then, okay, so we drove to Lapine, got there about 10:30, and we went to Subway. I had a big old chopped salad. What I put on it was steak and bacon. I had them loaded up with meat. I had every single vegetable that they have, and this is exactly what I tell them when I order my Subway salad. I say, I want a steak and bacon salad, and then they say, oh, what do you want? What veggies do you want on it? I say, I want every single vegetable except jalapenos, because I just don't like, they're too hot for me. That's the only reason why I don't like the taste of them. But everything else, put it on there. I had them do ranch dressing and the shredded cheese and salt and pepper and some mozzarella. So I ate that. That was about 10:30. Our tax appointment was from 12 to 3. And yeah, I'll share a little bit more about how I felt in a second, but I just want to get through what else we ate. So then at 4, we went to Applebee's, and I ordered the Bourbon Street chicken and shrimp. I had them hold the potatoes because I'm not eating anything that's high starch that will raise my blood sugar or my insulin or my glucose. So no potatoes. Nothing against potatoes at all. I think, you know, they're a real whole food, very much in favor of potatoes. I'm just right now at this point in my life, lowering the body fat, not eating potatoes. What I had her bring was broccoli. They had steamed broccoli on the menu, and then when she brought that, I said, can I please have some extra butter? And it was so cute. They brought it in this, you know, the little creamed, soft, yummy, whipped butter that you put on your mashed potatoes usually, or your baked potatoes. They brought me a little thing of that, and I put it on my broccoli. Oh, it was so good. It was so yummy. Then only thing I ordered to drink was water, and at Applebee's, they give you these big old glasses. I drank 2 full big glasses of water, loaded everything up with salt. Salt is, because of the way I'm eating, electrolytes are so important, and the way I'm eating is really, it's a diuretic, so a lot of things, including minerals, are getting flushed out of my system all the time, the water and the minerals, so it's really important to put those back in through foods and through supplementation, and that's really key. Okay, so did I say that was at 4? Yeah. Then we drove back to Lakeview. We left Bend at, I think it was about 6 p.m. Drove back to Lakeview, had to pick my son up from his little dance, yes. So my husband stopped at the gas station, and he came out, I didn't go in, but he came out with a big old pack of jerky. And in case you're wondering, my husband's eating like this too. He does not need to lose weight, but what he does need to do is heal his gut. He's got some issues going on there that he wants to take care of, so he's doing that. And so he knows what to get, so he brings out this jerky. I really wasn't that hungry, but the jerky looks so delicious that I had a few handfuls of that before I called it a day. So that's what I ate the whole day of traveling, going to Bend to do our taxes. Something that I want to tell you about that. Typically, what I've done in the past 18 years of being a married woman on my own, getting my taxes done, always, that we've gone to the same tax lady for 18 years. It is right next to the Wendy's. I guarantee you what we've always done previously, as soon as we get done with that tax appointment, which is insanely draining, insanely stressful on my brain to just go through it. My brain's not wired like that. I love numbers, but I don't like to have to sit there and think about that and then stress over if we have to pay, if we get money back, how it's all going to get. You know how it is. You know how it is doing your taxes. So what we normally do is we go straight from our tax place over to Wendy's and get a big, this is what I always get. Well, it depends. This is what I used to get. I don't do that anymore. I would get a big old, what are those called? The ice creams at Wendy's. Frosty? Isn't that right? You know what I'm saying, those big chocolate milkshake thingies. And, but before that, I would probably eat a big burger and fries and a Coke. And I'd justify it. I'd be like, who cares if I fell off the wagon? I'm traveling. I'll get back on track on Monday. Blah, 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 blah. No. I did not do that this time, but I had all the 18 years in the past. And what would happen, it's just a combination of how I was living my life. I would be mentally drained, being like, I have to have carbs to concentrate, have to go get them, blah, blah, blah. So that it was this whole, negative feelings inside, feeling guilty because I was falling off the wagon on my diet, just kind of that razor's edge thing of living that way, and then having, no energy, no ability to concentrate, by mid-afternoon when we got that tax appointment done. Awful, awful. What is so amazing to me about this time around, that I came out of my tax appointment feeling, I had energy. You guys, this is so strange eating like this, so strange, and I can't wait to get into more about it. But that's why you're watching me right now, is because I said I was going to share with you what I ate. So I got to move on to the day 2 of traveling, which was getting up early again to go to my in-laws for a full, very physical day of helping them brand their calves. All right, so I've got my little menu up here so I don't miss anything. That morning, so this is Saturday, I got up at 5:30 I got up a little earlier. I always get up early. I like getting up early. I got up, had another cup of black coffee, drank my pre-workout. I got a scoop of pre-workout. Again, it contains all those electrolytes and some extra formulation that gives me energy for my workouts. Did that, and then worked out. I think I had a 60-minute arms, abs, ass workout, which was awesome. After that, I then had my post-workout drink, which is the same thing to replenish those electrolytes that I lost. Drank that. Then we got to Paisley about 7:30. Stopped at the same cute little coffee shop. I decided I didn't want to have all that milk that I had the first time. So this is my first time having an Americano espresso. Have you ever had those? Oh, the coffee was fun. I'm going to go have one again today. The coffee in that thing was so good. And I just had her put, some cream in it. And I don't know what she did to it or whatever, but it was just the black coffee, Americano espresso, and the cream. I sipped on that for 2 hours. It was and it was a 16 ounce. It was so good. Okay. So that leads us to, we got to the branding about 10, and we branded, so I worked on the ground the first half, helped set ropes, gave shots, yelled at my kids, all that kind of stuff. For the first half of the branding, they had 90 calves to do, and it was just us. It was a really good, low-key atmosphere. We just took our time. So it took a while to get through them. I roped the second half, and we got done, I don't know what time we got done, but I do remember looking to see what time we ate. That was about 3 p.m. So I never had anything from, 7:30-ish till 3 p.m. I'm just looking at my notes over here where I wrote down my schedule. So I talked about this earlier, but typically, traditionally, at ranch brandings, what happens is the people who are putting on the branding prepare a big meal, or at least have something packed where you can either tailgate it or you go back to the house and eat. This happens all the time in our area. It doesn't really matter whose branding you go to. It's just kind of tradition that's what happens is you work really hard until the job is done, and then you go drink beer and you eat bread and salads and desserts and all the meat, all just yummy, delicious baked beans, any kind of big, huge meal that you can imagine. And so my mother-in-law never disappoints. She's an amazing cook. She always has all this food that is so delicious. You got to go back and listen to the tips from last week, but what I did was stuck to my guns, and I didn't know for sure what she would have, but I knew, like I said last week, she'd have some meat and some veggies. So what I did was she had ham. She baked up this really yummy ham. I had some ham. She had a broccoli salad there that had broccoli and cabbage, and it looked like some type of fatty dressing, which is on the menu for me. And then she had one of those veggie plates. I'm like, veggies, yeah. So I did celery, broccoli, cherry tomatoes, kind of put it on the thing on my plate. And then right in the center of that glorious veggie tray was a whole bunch of ranch. I got a thing of ranch, a container. So I got a spoon, put like 2 tablespoons probably of ranch to dip my veggies in. And then the veggie tray also had those little cute little square cheeses. I probably got about 10 of those maybe. And here's where I had already planned this in. I had 1 Corona. Sat there and ate mindfully in the present moment, enjoyed visiting with the people there and telling stories. And I was just really mindful, especially about how that Corona was making me feel. Because I haven't drank alcohol for a while, and I haven't really missed it. But it's just, you know how it is. It's the social scene where I don't know, maybe there's, you don't drink at all, but me, I would drink 3 or 4 Coronas and maybe get into the whiskey later or the Fireball. I've been known to do that and just have fun and be responsible, of course, blah, blah. Anyway, I had 1 Corona. It made me feel really good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the company. I just stayed really present to see how I felt. So no guilt there. No feeling like I have to have more and more and more and more. I did not have desserts. I did not have the bread. I did not have the potatoes, which I know I didn't want. I didn't want that stuff. It wasn't like I can't have it. It was I, honest to goodness, didn't want it. Okay. So then we left Summer Lake about 4:30 p.m. to drive back to Lakeview, which is about an hour and 15 minutes. We went to Saturday night Mass, and then we got out of Mass about 7 p.m. I just kind of went with the flow, kind of took a census of the family. So it was my husband and my 3 kids to see if we were hungry or what we needed to do. We all decided we were a little bit hungry, so we went to our local Mexican restaurant. I love Mexican food. I think you can get the best choices there for eating the way I'm eating right now. And I ordered, when I order stuff from Mexican restaurants, I love those guys in there. I always just point. I don't know how to say any of the things on the thing, and I just point. So I had, what he brought me was a creamy chicken and onions and mushrooms mix. So it was chicken, onions, mushrooms, all, I wouldn't say sauteed, but all covered in this white creamy sauce, cheesy sauce. Oh, it was so good. I did not have the chips. I did order extra guacamole and just ate it. I split it with my husband and I just ate it with a spoon. Oh, so good. Made sure I loaded it with salt and drank more water. Yeah, I had more water then. Almost forgot because I didn't really write it down. And that's all I ate for all of that. I have no idea what that sounds like to you in terms of if you compare what I eat to what you eat, but what I can do is compare what I ate those 2 days of traveling compared to what I used to eat. So the old me, loading up on all the carbs, drinking a lot of beer, and then totally justifying it in the moment, followed by feeling really crappy, having zero energy, feeling really tired, feeling really guilty for having fell off the wagon, and then thinking, okay, how am I going to get back on the wagon? That was the old me. The new me is following the tips that I shared last week, and also just knowing what I'm doing now is so completely, there is no wagon. I burned the thing down. I do not get on and fall off a dieting wagon. It doesn't exist. It's gone. And what's happening as a result of that, because of the changes that I have made to eliminate sugar, wanting to eliminate sugar and flour, so anything processed and high carb is gone now. If I do eat something like that, it is in very much like the Corona. I drank one Corona, and it didn't make me feel deprived. Like, oh my gosh, I'm only having one when I needed 3 or 4. That sounds like I'm a lush alcoholic, but when you live on the dieting wagon or on that razor's edge of staying on a diet where it's so, it requires so much discipline and willpower. When you're on that little tiny thing where it's so easy to fall off, you're up there, it's not sustainable. And what I'm really looking to do is, number one, the thing that got me started on making these changes that I've made is to decrease my body fat. I want to come on here and show you my abs. And I know, yes, I work out every single day. That's not an issue. But what I know I need to do is decrease my body fat. And I was failing miserably for 3 years trying to make that happen. Now it's happening effortlessly. I have more energy than I've ever had before. I sleep better. My skin is better. My teeth are whiter. I'm just shrinking. And what the message that I want to say is there's hope. If the things that I struggled with, in the past, that I struggled with in the past, you're struggling with now, there's hope. And I just want you to keep following me and listening to my message, because as I go through this, I'm going to figure out more and more ways to help you lose weight, to help you get fit to ride. That is my mission. I burn with passion. I believe in it so wholeheartedly that you can have your cake as long as it doesn't have sugar and flour. No, just kidding. You can have your cake and eat it too. I really believe that, because we get one shot at this life. It's our physical existence, and you're not meant to suffer. You're meant to live in the body of your dreams. You're meant to enjoy all the finer, lovely foods that there is to offer, and experience that with energy and joy. You're not supposed to be foggy-brained and lethargic and hungry. You're not supposed to be hungry. You're not supposed to be hungry or starving or have cravings. I think that's the thing I wrote down that I wanted to make sure that I mentioned was the cravings used to get me down. And since I made this switch in December, I do not have cravings. That's weird. Yeah. The last little noteworthy disclosure, it's not a disclosure, it's noteworthy. I do drink a superfoods shake every day. And these 2 days, it was weird. It didn't get in. But typically, I do have a superfoods shake. So I really believe in supplementation, because I don't care what diet you decide to follow, I guarantee you are not going to get all the very, very vital minerals and vitamins into your body that you need to function properly. So that's why, in my opinion, supplementation is a must, and that's a whole nother topic that we'll talk about later. But for now, that's what I wanted to share, is what I ate on those 2 days. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you with all my heart. I love hearing from you. So one thing that I need you to do is I haven't been a ton on my beloved places of Facebook and Instagram as much as I'd like. I'm still getting some things out there, but I haven't been able to connect with you and have our personal one-on-one conversations that I have, that I love, that I've kind of built my business around. But what I have been doing on the back end is something that I wished I would have done in the beginning, is I'm over on my website in my blog working really hard to provide content that stays around forever rather than just a fleeting Facebook post that no one sees anyway. So if you could do me a favor and go over to www.andreaotley.com, it's just my name, and check out my latest blog post, give me your feedback, let me know what you have been up to and how you're feeling. I'm always here to answer questions about what I'm doing, and maybe, you know, if you have questions, I can turn those around into some new, you know, video or blog post. So go check that out. And then lastly, what I want to leave you with is, if you stuck with me to the end, please share with me how you stay on track when you're traveling. Do you find yourself on that dieting bandwagon and then you fall off, or, you know, have you found some tip or trick that lets you stay on track? Okay, that's all I got to say. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.